I don't believe we should teach children the Green Cross Code. I don't think we should teach children how to cross the road safely at all. Because when we do that, we're victim blaming everyone that's ever been hit by a car. Does that make any sense to anybody? I hope not. When you say teaching self-defense is victim blaming, that is moronic, it is stupid, and it's dangerous. To teach someone self-defense skills is giving them an extra set of skills to keep them safe. Now, why is it perfectly okay to teach children how to cross the road? Look both ways, listen for traffic, if you see something coming, don't cross. Yet, to say to someone, if someone's behaving in this manner and they're doing this, then they're probably going to attack you, don't deal with them. That, however, is completely not okay. It used to be that the thing of well, if you teach self-defense, you're victim blaming, was you're thereby implying that if someone doesn't know self-defense, that they deserve to be attacked. I'm not saying that at all. The more I read from certain websites, the more it now seems that if I teach people over here self-defense, we're now all victim blaming people over here who've already been attacked, which again is absolute nonsense. A lot of what we teach is awareness and avoidance. If you are aware that somebody is staring daggers at you, do something to move out of their line of sight. If you know what certain people are looking for, we can do certain things to not display it. So, if I know that there is a particular bar where every weekend someone has had their watch or their necklace or their ring stolen, if I was to go to that bar wearing thousands of pounds worth of jewellery, loudly say how much the jewellery was worth, and then get so hammered that I can't stand up, if the next day I was to say, I've had all my jewellery stolen, you wouldn't go, oh, you poor thing. Most people go, well, what the bloody hell were you expecting? You knew going in that the jewellery gets stolen there every week. You went in wearing very expensive jewellery, and you got to a point where you couldn't remember anything. There comes a point where it's no longer victim blaming, but it is asking adults to adult. Take responsibility for your own actions. A lot of people are doing things that could have been easily avoided, and when this gets pointed out, they throw their hands in the air and say, oh, you're victim blaming, you're victim blaming. If you had a neighbour who downed 2 bottles of vodka, then got behind the wheel of their car and put their car through a wall, would you not say, well, what were you expecting to happen? We know the effects alcohol has on people. We know the effect alcohol has on people's ability to drive. And we have seen previously what happens to people who drive whilst under the influence of alcohol. So the fact that you crashed your car isn't a shock to anybody. When you then say, we know there are muggers and attackers in this area, and if you are completely switched off, you are a prime target for what they're looking for, we're now blaming the victim. If you walk down the street with your hood up, earbuds in, you've taken away most of your vision, you've taken away your ability to hear anything. If you're also then, with that, got your head down looking at your phone, you're completely out of the world. You've taken yourself completely out of society, meaning we can attack you and you won't be able to say who we are. You've also got your phone out, showing how valuable your phone is. This is stuff people look for. This is stuff that the predators look for. If you're displaying this stuff, you might as well just have a big sign above your head saying, mug me, I'm not paying attention and I've got valuables. Now, if you're a child, it is victim blaming because children don't know anything. If you're a grown up, in today's society, we are bombarded 24 hours a day by news of the world's a far more dangerous place than it's ever been. It's getting worse and worse and worse. We've got 20,000 police taken off the streets. Violent crime is up. It's on the news every day that there's been another mugging, another murder, another this, that, and the other. If you look at all that and go, I'll be alright, It's not going to happen to me. Then it probably will happen to you, because you're switched off, and that's what predators look for. So, if I'm saying this to you, and you think that I'm blaming you for being a victim, you have to take a step back first and say, well, what behaviour was I exhibiting? Was I switched on to my surroundings, or was I completely off in my own little world? If you walk around off in your own little world, you might get mugged, you might get raped, you might get beaten up. Would you behave like that if you were driving? If you were behind the wheel of a car, would you be in your own little world? There's a Cooper colour code, and everybody driving should be in code yellow, which is switched on, alert to your surroundings. You're not panicked, you're not expecting anything to happen, but you're aware of everything going on. That's how you should be when you're walking down the street. That's how you should be whenever you're out and about. Whenever you're outside of the house, code yellow. Be aware of what's going on around you. If you're not aware of everything going on around you, you're inviting trouble in. Now, if you're driving and you're on the road, it could be a car indicating to pull in front of you and you don't see it and there's a crash. It could be a car coming off a slip road and you don't see it and there's a crash. It could be a roundabout and there's a crash. You've got the potential to kill people here. If you're walking and you're out and about doing your shopping or just going for a walk or whatever, and you're completely switched off, you're inviting people to mug you. Absolutely 100% inviting people to mug you. The little earbuds, you're still switching your senses off, but they're harder to detect. What I have seen more and more of these days is people with the big old headphones stuck to the side of their head, which is great because even if you're not listening to music, you're still saying, you're showing me that you can't really hear properly anymore. So it can sneak up on you without really trying. If you've got music going on in your head and you're singing along, you're lost in your own little world. I mean, I could probably walk straight up in front of you and attack you and you wouldn't be able to know about it until it was already over. Victim blaming originally came up in rape cases in court, where very sleazy, horrific lawyers said, look at the way she was dressed, she was asking for it. That would be victim blaming. The only reason rape happens is because of rapists. I agree with this. Nobody has ever gotten ready for a night out or ready for a day at work thinking, really hope I'm raped today. The actual definition of rape, or the criminal definition of rape, is to insert the penis without the other person's consent. So you technically cannot ask for rape. So no one has ever asked for rape. The victim blaming there was for a lawyer to get his client off, and I believe in the case that was really kind of big on that was the defense was that it wasn't rape and that it was consensual sex. That's why in that first case the underwear was brought up and the way that the woman was dressed was brought up, because they were saying she was out for a one night stand. I do know that in subsequent cases where people have said that they were there was an attempted kidnap and there was an attempted rape and the woman had to hide practically naked in someone's front garden at like 1 o'clock in the morning in the freezing cold before knocking on the door because two guys in a van tried to take her off. The first thing the police did there, I believe, was actually ask the woman, what were you wearing? Which the woman hopefully reported to two police officers, because that should not have been the first question. That's completely irrelevant. You're never asking for sexual assault. What I will say is we know sexual predators exist. So if you're on a night out and you're wearing clothes that you're spilling out of, and you're so drunk you can't stand up under your own power, and you're walking home alone, if there is a predator about, you are a prime target for that predator. Take this advice on board or completely ignore me, whatever you wish. If the predator has a checklist of things they're looking for, and you tick most of them off, you're their target. So if you are showing a lot of skin, if you are very, very drunk, if you are by yourself, if you don't look like you're going to be able to fight back, this is a prime target. Now, that's not just for a rape, that could be for a mugging or just... There are people out there that will attack people to beat them up just for the sake of beating them up. That's something we have to keep in mind as well. Not every attack against the woman is a rape. It's also worth mentioning, men get raped every single day. Right? It's not just women that get raped. So we have to keep all of this in mind if you know what the bad guys are looking for, you know what not to display. So if it's going to be a mugging or an attack of any kind, and your hood is up, your headphones are in, shuffling along, oh god, woe is me, oh I hate my life, yeah, you're going to be attacked. If you're standing quite up straight, chest out, aware of what's going on around you, if you're walking with a purpose, if you're switched on to the environment, they won't do it. Because the bad guys don't actually want to work. They go for the easiest prey. So if you can look like a harder target, if you make yourself a harder target, it's all the better. Now, with this information in mind, if you choose to completely ignore all that, then it's no longer victim blaming, it's a simple case of what were you expecting to happen. If you go to the bad part of town and you start slapping people around, you're going to get beaten up. Yeah? If you were to go up to Mike Tyson and start making fun of the way he talks, and he beats the hell out of you, you don't have my sympathy, because what were you expecting to happen? So we have to be very careful when we use the term victim blaming, and what we actually mean is, I don't want to take responsibility for my own actions. I don't want to be a grown up just yet. That type of behaviour does not exist in my club. I will point out this behaviour leads to this consequence. These actions lead to these actions, lead to this happening. Again, it's completely up to every single student to take it on board or to completely dismiss it. But if you are armed with the knowledge already, and you still decide to behave in a particular manner which is statistically proven to result in a bad thing happening, then I can't say I have too much sympathy. And it's not victim blaming at that point. It is just asking grown-ups to take responsibility for themselves.